Now it's time to write our test. So let's go ahead and get the dependencies and get started with our tests. So I'm in WebStorm. So we'll be using Jasmine framework for writing our tests. So I'll say npm install jasmine-node. Say- So this will install Jasmine for me. Now let me get into package.json where for the test I would be writing a command to start the test. So I'll say node underscore modules. There is one Jasmine utility which is useful for running the tests, which is inside node underscore modules bin folder. I would say dot bin and jasmine hyphen node. I need to pass the folder name. Inside this folder, all of the tests will be run by this utility. So this is one change I need to make inside package.json file. Let's go ahead and start writing our test. So I'll create a file folder by the name spec, add a new file, JavaScript file, say movies controller spec.js. So the syntax for writing tests is pretty straightforward. We will use our describe block. So I'm going to describe my movies controller here, which has a second argument as a callback function, inside which I'll write a describe function for get. So I want to describe get functionality where I would be writing my tests. So I'll say should return true. Just for testing purpose, I'm writing this. So I'll say expect true to be true to make sure our dependencies are loaded correctly and we are able to run the test. I'm writing this sample test. Let me go ahead and run this test. You would say npm test to run the test. So everything goes good, we should see a passing test. So one test, one assertion, it's passing. So let me clean this up. Let's go ahead, write our first test. Let me get into movies controller first here. So we've added movie as a dependency just for testing purpose because to make it testable, we have added this movie as a dependency. So we'll be injecting this movie from the test rather than passing a actual movie object. We'll be passing a spy or a mock of movie. So we'll see in a minute how to do that. But let's get into get function. What we are doing. See, in the get function, we are calling movie.find. So make sure that whenever you call this get, this function is called. So let's get into our test. Say should call movie.find function. Now I'll add a couple of objects, a couple of variables here. Say movie controller. I need a movie model and I need a request and response object. So in the describe function, anyway, I will just mark movie model first. I will create an object. This movie, I need a find function. So I'll say jasmine dot create spy because we are not going to pass an actual object. That's why I'm creating a spy. That should be it for movie now, and I'll just mark a response object 2. Say this response has send. I'll say jasmine dot create spy for send and status. I'll say jasmine dot create spy. So it just creates a fake function for it, same way it does here too. So let's go ahead. Now we have a movie. Let's create a movie controller. So I'll instantiate, I'll reference it. This movie controller is in controller folder and it should be movies controller. This expects a dependency of movie, so I'll be passing it here. So now, rather than passing an actual object, I'm passing a fake object by, or you can call it a mock. Let's go ahead and call a movie controller dot get, because we are testing this get function, so we should be calling this get. And this get expects two parameters, request and response. So request is undefined for now, that's okay, because we're not looking at request anyway. So what we are expecting is expect movie dot find to have been called. Let me go ahead and say npm test again. See, now the test is passing. So when you say movie controller dot get, when a request comes, when get request, this would be calling movie dot find, which would be fetching data. Same way we can write a test for, I can have another get, another describe, say get by id. It should call movie dot find by id function this time. Say movie controller dot get by id, request and response, expect movie dot find by id to have been called. Let me go ahead and say npm test. We should see a failing test. It says one failure. Let's see what's says cannot read params of undefined. We need to define request also here. Request which has params. For now I'll say one, or just say id. Let me go ahead and say npm test one more time. Undefined is not a function because it is looking for find by id function, so we need to mock that one as well. Now that that function is mocked. Now we should see a passing test. Our tests are passing. So this is how you would mock and you would write tests. Go ahead and write tests for the remaining functionality. So if you don't understand, just go with this video a couple of times. Should be, everything should make sense. So